Pretty apropos. I could be sad now. Nobody's bumming up. All good. Awesome. Thank everybody for coming. This is great. I had bed early just to come listen to us. And thank everybody for being online and watching also. Everybody knows Dave is not here this morning. Dave went to Las Vegas. And I told him to stay away from two different places. We won't say which two they are, but I told him to stay away from those places. I'm sure he followed my orders. Pretty sure. You know Dave. But hey, this morning I guess we would start with the chalice lighting. Anybody want to light our chalice this morning? Go ahead, Josh. Light the chalice for all those who are in search of peace, hope, understanding, healing, faith. We'll get right to this service this morning so we can all carry on with our day. Nice to see everybody. Nice to see you guys back from wherever you were hiding away. And then we have new guests. Thank you, Josh. We decided we love our organ, first of all. So I called Dale and I said, Dale, I said, I love those bass notes on that organ. I said, please turn that thing on, blow the carbon out of it, make it smoke and fire come out of it. And she said, well, that's all fake stuff. But she's going to give us our blowing the carbon out of our organ while we do our offertory for today. Thank you, Dale. Who's going to carry the plate? You're it. Thank you, Dale. Number 592. start. I call that mind free, which masters the senses and recognizes its own reality and greatness.
Which passes life not in asking what it shall eat or drink, but in hungering, thirsting, and seeking after righteousness.
I call that mind free, which jealously guards its intellectual rights and powers, which does not content itself with a passive and hereditary faith,
which opens itself to rising which sees new truth as an angel from above.
I call that mind free, which is not passively framed by outward circumstances and is not the creature of accidental impulse,
which discovers everywhere the radiant signatures of the infinite spirit, and then finds help to its own spiritual enlargement.
I call that mind free, which protects itself from the usurpations of society and which does not cower to human opinion,
which refuses to be misled by the tools of the few, and regards its empire over itself as no lower than the empire of the world.
I call that mind free, which resists the bondage of habit, which does not mechanically copy the past, nor live in its old virtues,
which listens to the higher vibrations of its conscience, and rejoices to pour itself forth in fresh and higher vibrations.
I call that mind free, which sets no bounds to its love, which, wherever they are seen, delights in virtue and sympathizes with suffering,
which recognizes all human beings, the image of God, and the rights of God's children, offers itself up a willing sacrifice to the cause of humankind.
I call that mind free, which has cast off all fear but that of wrongdoing, and which no menace or peril can enthrall,
which is calm and possesses itself through all else.
Awesome. Thank you all so much. Today's message is about being happy, or searching happy hunting, the title that we gave it. So Randy is now up, and I can go change the battery. You got it.
He's not saving my dress, my battery. I chose to wear something with no pockets.
I think of for my hand. So welcome everybody. It's so good to see so many faces here. I know that
The sound is way off. Can we send me? Right here? Is it in the wrong?
Yeah.
Oh, it's on the right.
Under here, that's the part for here.
That's it.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, am I on? Can you hear me? Better?
Yes.
Okay, good. So again, welcome everybody. It's so nice to see your faces. I know on a beautiful day like today, it's your time you're giving up to come in here and spend time in fellowship and maybe hear a message that has meaning to you. So we hope we're able to deliver that today. I want to thank Gina Parent for her newest painting, which she allowed me to borrow. We don't have a lot of flowers in our garden right now. And if you know Ira and I, one of my passions that brings joy to my heart is art. So this is entitled Hollyhock, and it reminds me very much of my grandmother's gardens. Hollyhock is such an old-fashioned flower, and you don't see them much anymore. But when I do see them, it takes me right back to my childhood playing in my grandmother's garden. So when I saw this, I asked Gina, could I please borrow it to bring some flower energy to the sanctuary this morning. So that is one of my passions. One of Ira's passions, as you well know, is music. And so you'll be experiencing a little bit of that later. But I just wanted to give thanks to Gina for her kind offering to let us use that today. Today's message, as I mentioned, is hunting, happy hunting. Because most of us spend a lot of time trying to figure out, where is our happiness? What do we find our happiness in? And that exercise, which we're going to do a little bit today, is not out there. It's in here. Your happiness is an internal action, not something that is temporal and out there. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. Paula, who's a guest here today, asked me, where does your inspiration come from? She asked me that earlier when we were meeting at our house. And, you know, truly the inspiration comes from what has gone before. For instance, Dave's message of last week had a note, an element of the stress that we're all under, whether it's in our personal lives, in global warming, in violence around the world, in the political scenario. So we're all inundated with a lot of stresses. And it seemed to me that an important thing to remember is, where is your happiness based? Because strengthening that base of happiness is what's going to help us all shine our light and get through the processes in front of us, which can be daunting. And I mean, you all have different scenarios in your life, I'm sure, but none of us are without issues, without stress, you know. So strengthening your happiness is a really important thing going into this season moving forward. So Dave's message of last week was really the inspiration to pull that thread of happiness into this service. Now, it's a privilege, first of all, to be asked to do a service in front of you guys, because honestly, your time is valuable. And when you bring it here and say, I'm going to sit and listen to something these people have to say, we can only hope that we're going to deliver something that has meaning to you. So it takes on, not only is it a privilege, but it takes on a certain air of responsibility. And one of those things is that because we are a ministry of many ministers, and today I'm the minister to Jor, you don't have a lot of guidance on what you can say from here. And so you have to really apply your own inspiration and consideration to what you say from this pulpit. So it's important to us that when we are asked to do a service, we really take that inspiration and couple it with consideration, because everybody in this room is coming, well, maybe not everybody, but a lot of people in this room are coming from different theological backgrounds. And so to find a message that goes straight down the path that can be something everyone can invest in and consider, happiness, we all share that. So today's message on happy hunting came to us, the inspiration really came through Dave's message of last week. I want to say, because your time is very precious to us as well as you, you know, you come here for communion, for fellowship, possibly even spiritual enlightenment or exploration. It's important that we talk to you about our experiences, because that's where our knowledge is based, in a very uplifting way. And so happiness is one of those things that we can all look at and go, yeah, that's a feel-good message. So today we're going to talk about happiness. So I don't know if you all are familiar with a motivational speaker. He's got to be about 100 years old now. His name is Dennis Waitley. And Dennis said, happiness cannot be traveled to, found, learned, worn, or consumed. Happiness is the spiritual experience of living every minute with love, grace, and gratitude. Now, if you think about that, every minute with love, grace, and gratitude, that's a lot of focus. That's a lot of energy spent on staying in that flow of happiness. But truly, that is what strengthens your happiness bones, if you will. I have a little, I guess I'd call it a trigger. Whenever I'm experiencing stress or negativity, my mind immediately goes to, where's the happiness in this? Where's your happiness in this? Are you getting drawn into the drama of something that is not good for you? And so my little trigger is, where's your happiness? So when I find myself stressing out about something, that's where my mind goes, because that's what I need to be more focused on versus the stress that's in front of me. Especially if it's a stress you can't change. You know, if it's something beyond your power to change, then your worry or your anxiety is not helping you, and it's not going to change the problem. So strengthening that avenue to access your happiness is where you find the opportunity and the ability to stay centered in the positivity of love and light. And when you do that, because when you're living in your happiness, you glow a different way. And people are attracted to you because they sense that you're a happy being. Not that any of us here is without the negativity of real life. I mean, how many of us have not experienced death of a loved one, divorce, shattered dreams, illness? I mean, the list is very long when you start looking at the things that can take from your happiness. And we all share those things in common. So I don't want this to come off like I'm doing a happy, and just ignoring the fact that we all have a lot of negativity around us in our life. And that's just the point of being here, is to experience all of it. But don't lose faith or trust in the fact that you are a happy being. You were born a happy being. Until all that adulting got in the way, you were a very happy being. And so getting back to that elemental aspect of where is your happiness? Where is it based? How do you find it? How do you access it? How do you strengthen it? I'm sure you all could give me some lessons on where you find you're happy. And that's an internal thing. So when I say when you find you're happy, I'm not talking about, well, we're going on a great vacation, I'll be happy then. Or when I find that perfect mate, I'll be happy then. Or when I get that great job, I'll be so happy. Those are all temporal things. They can disappear as fast as they appeared in your life. Nothing makes me, well, I don't want to say militant, but that's the word that comes to mind, more than when I hear somebody say, but he or she makes me so happy. I just want to grab him by the shoulders and shake him and say, no, that's not true. You are experiencing a moment of bliss, whether it's a chemical reaction that will take its time to sort itself out or not. That is not your happiness. That is a moment of pleasure you are experiencing that they provided, that now you've drawn them into the contract to keep providing that for you so you stay happy. That's not happiness. That's a contract that they had no, that's an emotional contract, that they had no point of recognition and saying, yes, I agree to do that for you. You just drew them into that and said, you're going to make me happy in your head. That is not their responsibility. You be a happy person and then share that with the person that you want to be with. Or not, be on your own. I mean, there are a lot of people that are on their own that are very happy. So it's not that you have to have a partner to be happy. I'm just using that as one example of where do you find your happiness. So let's explore that. As Dennis said, love, grace, and gratitude every minute. How many of us can say we actually do that? I know I can't. It's something I strive for, and the more I focus on it, the more I am spending time in it. But how often do you really think about your happiness? I guarantee that you immediately think about the negativity that you get drawn into, right? Because you can't avoid it. You're human. We're all human. But how much time do you spend thinking about your happiness and how you create it, how you earn it, how you own it? And I'm sure that's going to be different for every single person in this room. Now, something that, because I don't use the word makes me happy. I don't use that term because it's not true. I express my happiness through things like working with people who are artistic, because that brings an element of light and joy into my life that allows me to express my happiness. But that painting doesn't make me happy. I'm happy enjoying that painting. This outfit I'm wearing today, I was telling a couple of the ladies earlier. My sister, who's in Australia, she belongs to a very large group of people, women, that in this country we have something called the Red Hat Society, and the women all wear purple, and they put their hats on, and they meet in large groups, and they go do things together. And that's an organization you belong to. Well, in Australia, they have a similar thing, only all the ladies own these really bizarre, outlandish caftans. And they meet in very large groups. They're very colorful. They're very alive and full of faith and joy and happiness. And so she gave me this, and I thought, well, this is a reflection of my happiness, literally. I came down the stairs, and Ira was like, are you going to get dressed for church? Because you could consider I'm out wandering in my jammies. Either way, I don't care. I'm happy. If this brings happiness into my life as a reflection to you, and it makes you smile, that's happy. So, you know, everything that we do, everything that we focus our energy on, that is us. You know, if you want to be happy, find it. Nobody's going to hand it to you. Nobody knows what the key is to unlock your happiness. You're the only person that knows that. But love, grace, and gratitude are three of the things that will help you stay in your happy place, if you will. Not that you're never going to experience negativity. I'm certain that you will. We're all human, and that's part of the reason that we're here. So, being one of many ministers, you try to keep a continuity of concept and thought going. I'm not sure where Ira disappeared to. He'll be back. Okay, because this would be the section in the program where he would be doing a little song. So right now, I'm just going to keep talking and do a little song and dance until he gets back.
Randy, I believe that happiness, and I've been through a lot of negativity, I believe happiness is a choice. It's a choice. You can either choose to let this negative thing keep you down and walk all over you and everybody see how down you are, or you can choose to be happy because you know what? I'm not dead. I'm walking around this earth today. I'm not able to get out and breathe. That's a choice to be happy about.
Yes.
And everybody has that choice, just like you have a choice to go to heaven or go to hell.
Well,
Whichever way you want to look at it.
Well, you have walked through the valley of the shadow, and you've come out on the other side. So when I hear you speaking, I know you know what it takes to earn and learn to be happy, because we've walked that walk with you. Honey, are you ready for your song?
Oh, are you looking for me?
Yeah, I was a little while ago.
I was looking for batteries that Dave said he left for
They're
us.
up here.
Oh.
Like,
Oops.
Well,
they're
it's
making-
okay. We'll just use this right here. Just a minor change. What's this?
There you go.
That's the anticipation.
Every rock star is late to their own show. I'm just telling you.
Say what?
You gotta build that anticipation.
That's right. Secret of life is enjoying passage of time. Anyone can do it. There ain't nothing to it. Nobody knows how we got to the top of the hill. But since we're only on our way down, we might as well enjoy the ride. Now the secret of love is in opening up your heart. It's okay to feel afraid, but don't let that stand in your way. 'Cause every Might as well enjoy the ride. Come on, give it a try. Isn't it a lovely ride? Gliding down, gliding down. Try not to try too hard, such a lovely ride. About time is that time isn't really real. It's just your point of view. How does it feel for you? Einstein said he could never understand it all. Planets spinning through space, smile upon your face. Welcome to the human race. Isn't it a lovely ride? Sliding down, gliding down. Trying not to try too hard, such a lovely ride. Such a lovely ride. The secret of life is the passage of time. Thank you. Hear it? Hear it?
Yep. Secret of life. So, one of the things that is really important when we're building our happy strengthening is to find the time for you. Like, where are you in the process of building your happiness? What do you find that helps you to do that? For me, writing, art, things that I can focus my energy on that bring pleasure back into my life in a way that makes me understand I'm in charge of that, as Stephen was saying earlier. If you're a ping pong ball between emotions, you're not in charge. You're a ping pong ball. So owning your own right to your own happiness is the first step in developing that strengthening of your happiness in order to be able to, in a sense, retreat to that when the stresses of the world are weighing down on you. Now, let's talk about those stresses, because that's one of the things that is a total distraction from your happiness, and that is your ego buying into that. So, news. If you find that the news leaves you feeling very distraught, very upset, very drained, turn it off. If the news is, I'm not saying don't be well informed, I'm saying don't wallow in it. If you've heard the story once, you've heard the story.
Right.
Let it go. If you find that being around certain people drain your energy, limit your exposure to those people and limit their access to you. You're in charge of you, they are not. So if you find that one of your escapisms from stress is an addiction of some type, seek out those services now to help you strengthen again your resolve and your happiness. Because there's not a single person in here that hasn't been impacted or affected by addiction of some type. Whether it's in their family, whether it's in their himself, whether it's in their community. So seek out those services that will allow you to handle and manage that in a more productive way so that it's not draining on your energy. I mean, there are a lot of things that you find that will distract you from your happiness. You're the only person that knows what those are. It could be your crazy Uncle Al. If your crazy Uncle Al drains your energy, limit your exposure to your crazy Uncle Al. Meanwhile, your crazy Uncle Al might be my best friend because he doesn't affect me, he doesn't punch my buttons in the same way he punches yours. So learn where your stressors are and then find the access to how to keep that at a distance. As I said, if the news is one of those things, turn it off. Be well informed. If you're not well informed, then ask a person that you trust who is well informed for information or advice. But don't just, we live in a society where on this thing, I can punch up any question I want an answer to and I'll get thousands of answers. Most of them will already be in line with what my thought processes are because the algorithm in this thing searches that out. So it's going to reinforce what my issues already are. This is the absolute worst place to look for reassurance of your happiness in life. Great for games, if that helps you manage your stress. Great for music, if that helps you manage your stress. But if you're just doom scrolling through this thing, all you're going to find is stuff that already reinforces where you're mentally at. Because that's what you've programmed it to do, whether you knew it or not. So be aware that and I guarantee if we all turned our phones on right now and went to our pages, it's all different. Nobody has the same information coming across this. We all have different bits and pieces based on what we've programmed it with, which then brings more of that into our lives. So if you've got a lot of negativity on this thing, shut it off, walk away from it, and then when you're prepared, come back to it and start deleting left and right. Because if you're seeing things on here that are making you upset and stealing your energy and your attention, that is not a positive growth. That's a drain. And if it's not adding positivity to your life, you really don't need it. I mean, especially so many things that come across this are beyond your control. Correct? So if it's beyond your control, why are you beating yourself up, suffering for it, if you can't fix it?
Right.
Focus on the things you can fix and start at the bottom, work your way up. You know, I know there's a lot of big problems up here, but start down here. Let your light shine where you are. And slowly, you gather that energy of people around you who are in the same mindset of shining their light where they are. Because that's how you overcome the darkness. You know, that's how you multiply your light. Let it shine. And if it's not for everybody, that's okay. I'm not everybody's cup of tea. I'm champagne.
Come on now.
Yeah. Right? And I'm okay with that. Because what I have to say is not going to resonate. That's not good. Resonate with everybody. But I hope something here today grabs your attention and gets you on that happy train. Because that's where we all need to spend more time. Less time in the stress, more time in the happy, and then let it flow. So one of the things that you'll see it in your brochure, happiness is an inside job. Nobody else is in control of your happiness. That's you. That's all on you. And if you are feeling stuck, there are methodologies and there are people. Start with your minister. Talk to your minister if you're feeling stuck in something. See if they can offer some kind of ideas, notions, efforts to help you get unstuck. But we were all born happy. Look at this little guy. He does not know what it's like to be unhappy. He might have a fussy moment because his pants are dirty. Wouldn't you? You know, he might need something to drink and have to express that through some fussiness. But at his core being, he's happy because nobody's told him yet he's not entitled to that. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure they're working hard on making sure he knows he is entitled to that. But those of us here that weren't raised with that kind of mentality, you know, we still struggle trying to find our happiness sometimes. So I'm sure you guys could give me a lesson on where to access happiness, how to stimulate your own happiness. And that would be just a wonderful conversation to have amongst ourselves, which is what this is about, starting a conversation so that it carries through in fellowship with each other, so that we start building those bonds when the stress starts overwhelming, because it does for all of us. There's no one here that hasn't been touched, as I said earlier, by negative aspects of life. And we all share that common bond, but we also have a right to embrace our happiness. And some people don't realize that. Some people think, oh, if I act too happy, I'm going to annoy my friends or family. Well, go ahead. Annoy them. They obviously need to be annoyed. If they feel like your happiness is a problem for them, rub it right in their face. Get right in there. Be happy, happy, happy. Because they obviously need to be brought to the point of recognizing happiness is the only truth in the world. If you're not happy, something is wrong. And you need to, we all need to, I'm not saying you, like I don't also suffer those things. When we're not happy, we need to chase that right to the root and say, oh, this is the reason I'm experiencing this unhappiness. Now, sometimes it can be a medical issue. Sometimes it's a medical chemical imbalance. You know, there's a lot of reasons that we suffer. And identifying those reasons is very important in learning the value of owning your own happiness. Now, earlier we talked about my weight, and his definition of happiness. But Alan, what do you think? I've got to go back and find my notes. Well, it's a Whately's definition. Oh, Alan Watts, that's who I couldn't remember, wrote in his classic work, The Meaning of Happiness, that happiness is a sense of harmony, completion, and wholeness. I can't read my own writing. Harmony, completion, and wholeness. So think about that. That's your internal ownership of your happiness. Harmony, that's a cohesive sense of balance, right? When you are living in a harmonious way, everything feels like it's in balance. Completion is the finality of the search for happiness. So when you get to the point, when you get to the point where you understand your happiness is your job, not anybody else's, and you own it, you get this sense of the search is over for your happiness. You know where it is, you know how to access it, you know what it is. So that is the completion. And the wholeness, because it is a harmonious completion, you feel ownership of your happiness. It's no longer based out there. You understand it's based in here. And it's not about anything external. It's not about when you get the job, when you buy the house, when you find the relationship. You bring your happiness wherever you go. You bring it to the relationship. You bring it to your friends. You bring it out in the community. If you're waiting for it to land on you, it's going to be a really long time. And it will be temporary. So do the work now to find out how you access your happiness. As Ira said earlier, it's an inside job. Because nothing out there is going to make you happy. Hope some of this is making sense. So we talked about developing some methods. Simple things can do it, like joining a book club, or a walking group, or finding a comedian that you follow, or a series on TV that really helps you like decompress and put the world away for a little bit so that you can feel less stress and more connected to yourself. Now keep in mind, those things are not making you happy. They're allowing you to push the rest of the stress out of your world so you can access your own happiness, and that's the difference. So when you work on your happiness, you are actually strengthening your ability to stay in that flow. And that's the important thing. That's that thing Alan, not Alan, but Dennis Watley was talking about. When you are experiencing grace, love, and gratitude every minute, you're staying in the flow because that's your focus. That's what you want to do. That's where you come back to each and every time. And when you feel like, oh, I'm overwhelmed, access your gratitude. Immediately go to your mind and say, what am I grateful for? And I guarantee you there's plenty of things you can be grateful for, even in the worst of circumstances in this country. Paula and I earlier today were just talking about how lucky we are to live in this world, and even the least of us has access to food, hot water, a pillow, or a roof over our heads. If you travel outside this country and go to some third world countries and you see the magnitude of people who are suffering that have no clean water, 15 or 30 people living in one hut, the danger of bombs dropping on their heads. And you think about that you were graciously given this life to experience and to take control of. There's a lot of gratitude to be had. So staying in that experience, that spiritual experience of living every minute with grace, love, and gratitude is how you stay focused on your happiness. So when you feel that pulling of the negativity, run right back to gratitude. It will get your mindset back to what is the happy part of being. And until we all become like Teddy and put away all the adulting that we were taught, that we weren't allowed to do this, that, or the other, then we're going to suffer the consequences of that mentality of lack, of oppression. He has none of that. And that's where we can all sort of put ourselves in our childlike being, to remember, not necessarily to act childishly, but to remember inside, there's still that child. You're still, every season that you have been, you still are. You're just layering more and more and more on top of it. So you get to decide, what is the next layer? Are you going to be layering on happiness or more distress? Your choice. And you're the only person that can figure out what it's going to take to help you access your happiness. But nothing is going to make you happy. That's on you. So, in closing, because we might have some Q&A and also some announcements, I don't know, but in closing, I just want to say this is, again, a very important aspect, the privilege to stand up here and talk to you guys in a way that hopefully delivers a message that you can buy into, is really a responsibility. So we hope that today's message has piqued some curiosity or brought up your right to your happy. And so in closing, thank you all for being here.
I want to thank everybody for tuning in today. If you'd like to show your support, please hit the like button, subscribe to our channel if you're not already subscribed, and help us out by sharing this message by clicking the share button. If you'd like to make a monetary donation to you, Church Holden, there is a link to our online donations in the video description down below. And again, thank you so much and have a blessed day.